Let's see just how much silver we've got here. Just pile them up here. I love that sound of how they clink together. That's cool. Can you read that? 1,618 grams. Wow. Well, hello, scrappers. Mike here. Welcome back to my channel. What do we got going on today? Well, today we are going to melt and pour some bars of silver. You know, in a series of previous videos, which I'll put a link to the first one in the series here in the upper right if you haven't seen it, I refined almost exactly 4 pounds of little tiny relay contacts that my friend Johnny in Finland brought for me. He wanted me to refine them for him and pour him some bars. So that's exactly what I did. I dissolved all those tiny little relay contacts in nitric acid. I got a lot of gold as a byproduct, which I'll talk about in a second. And we got about 3.5 pounds, not quite, of cement silver here, which I need to pour into bars for Johnny. And we got some filter paper here that's got silver in it. So we're going to do all this stuff today, or at least try to. Of course, I picked like the hottest day of the year so far to do this, so I'm getting an early start in the morning. It's already toasty out here. So we'll see. It also may turn into thunderstorms later today. That may shut us down. So we'll see how far we get today. If not, I'll finish it tomorrow or another day, and it'll all just get edited into one video. So I've got some brand new crucibles, and I've got some brand new graphite molds. So we should get some nice clean silver out of this stuff. So let's get started. I think the first thing I want to do is I want to process the filter papers, and silver's already falling out of them onto my bench here. I will have to sweep that up and get it in there. But yeah, I want to process them. And once they cook down into the bottom of this crucible, I'm going to add this stuff here. This is some, well, it looks dirtier. I don't know if it really is, but this was dirtier silver I got from some later extractions on those relay contacts. The liquid that came off was heavily contaminated with base metals, and but I think I cleaned it up with some acid boils, so we'll see. Anyway, I'm going to cook this down. Once it cooks down, I'm going to add this to it, and we'll pour a bar. And if I don't like the looks of this bar, what I'll probably do is remelt it, cornflake it, and then reprocess this silver to make it cleaner, okay? But I think once we get into doing this stuff, there's a lot of it here, we'll make some really nice clean bars, because this is nice clean cement silver. So let me get a little whisk broom and clean all this silver powder off my bench, get it in there, and we will get this in the foundry furnace and get it heating up and get this process started. Okay, let's get this show on the road before it gets to be 100 degrees out here, and I don't want to be standing next to my foundry furnace here. So I built this foundry furnace. It's just made out of wraps of KO-wool foam, or just made out of wraps of KO-wool fiber, held together with some baling wire, basically. I did treat it with sodium silicate solution to sort of rigidize it, but I'm not even sure that was necessary. Anyway, I've got the little crucible with the paper filters in it, full of silver. And we'll get this thing fired up and get that cooking. So I know the shadows are a little harsh. I hope you can see what's going on out here. I've got a propane tank, regulator, foundry burner or forge burner, and that's blowing into my foundry furnace. So this should get hot enough to melt the silver. So let's get it lit. And we'll just have to let that come up to temperature. It's going to take a little while because everything's cold this morning. So We'll just let it go and let that stuff cook down. Make some room for some more silver. Alright, it's been a little while. This has gotten good and hot in here. Looks like this stuff's ashed up pretty well. I think in a minute I'm going to pull this crucible out and add the so-called dirty silver to it. And get that started melting down. Here's the dirty silver. Turn the burner off for a few seconds. And we'll get that melting down. Alright, that silver in there looks like it's melting down nicely. Okay, and I'm preheating one of the graphite molds up here. You always want to preheat your molds to make sure there's no moisture in them before you pour molten metal in them. Otherwise, it'll explode right out all over you in a steam explosion. So we'll get that graphite mold heated up and dried out. And we might be ready to pour this stuff pretty quick by the looks of it. Cool. I don't know if that's showing up. We got a nice shiny mirror surface on top of that molten silver down in there. So I'm going to pull it out in a minute and pour a bar from it. And I think I will put, since the crucible's nice and hot, I'll put some of the clean cement silver in it and get that started melting down. Alright, I apologize for the fact that this area is going to be in shadow. That's where I'm going to be working. So hopefully you can see what's going on down there as I do this. Turn the burner off. Oh, that's some nice looking silver down in there. I like that. I like that. Hopefully, it'll make a nice looking bar. Well, it looks like silver. All right. We got some debris in here still. We'll get rid of that. Get some of this cleaner cement silver in here. Just back in the furnace and get it started again. There we go. We'll get that melting down. There's our first little silver bar. It actually looks pretty good. I was afraid it was going to be really dirty, but it really looks pretty good. I might melt this back down, add it into the other stuff once it starts melting, melt it back down, and pour it all together. That's what I'm thinking. Keep that warm, and we've got to wait for the rest of it to melt. Wow, that silver has started melting already. That crucible must be really hot because it's only been a couple of minutes. Just long enough for me to get another graphite mold out and start it heating up. So yeah, I think I'm going to take that little ingot right there I just poured and put it in there and get it melting down because it looks like actually pretty good silver. So we'll just mix it all together and pour ourselves some big bars. Yep, in goes this one. When that melts down, I'll put in some more of the cement silver. I've still got a ton of it. All needs to be melted down. We're gonna make some big bars. Wow, this silver is melting down really fast. I am surprised at how quickly my furnace is melting it here. So I'm gonna add some more cement silver to it. See if I can get that out. Yeah. Ooh, that's heavy crucible. Got a fair amount of silver in it already. Okay. Get that melted down. That's probably only going to take a few minutes. We'll be ready to pour. Get these down in position, ready to go. Pouring us some bars here in a couple minutes. I don't know if you can see it in there, but all that cement silver melted down into a much smaller volume than I was expecting. So I'm going to pull that out and add some more. And I've still got a whole lot of cement silver. This is not anywhere near the end of it. And one more time. I want to make sure I've got enough here to pour a couple of decent bars, decent sized bars. So one more time, I'm going to add some more cement silver to it. It's hard to do with welding gloves on, but man, is this stuff hot. All right, this time it's for real. I'm going to pour some big bars. Turn the heat off for a minute. It's crucible out. Yeah, once again, stuff stuck to the tongs. Not thrilled with these bars. The silver is solidifying about as soon as it hits the graphite mold. So they're kind of ugly looking bars. I might have to remelt them and try again. Maybe I can get the silver a lot hotter. I'm not running the furnace as high as it can go. I mean, it's reasonably good looking silver, it's just ugly looking bars. Well, let's try that again. See if we can do better. All right, let's see if we can pour some nice looking big bars here. Everything's melted. It's good and hot. Well, they're not the prettiest bars in the world, but they're bars. Let me get some more cement silver in that crucible, and we'll melt it down and pour another bar or two. Yeah, not the prettiest bars in the world, Johnny, but they're bars of your silver, buddy. Take those back home to Finland with you the next time you come. A little bit escaped. Get this back in the crucible. Pick it up. Heck, I'm wearing welding gloves. That melt down too. All right, the last of the cement silver's in there melted. I think it's time to pour our last bar or two. Not sure what that stuff in there is, but it's not silver. Okay, this back in. Pouring fast seems to be the recipe for better looking bars. Got a lot of holes in the bottom of them. I believe that's from oxygen coming out of solution in the silver, Johnny. Oxygen will dissolve a lot. Silver will dissolve a lot of oxygen when it's molten, and it comes back out as it cools. Okay, I'll have a look at those up on the bench. Whew, that would be a good job for a cold winter day. Unfortunately, there aren't that many of them in Florida, and today is a scorcher of a summer day. All right, so got our nice shiny silver ingots here. You say they're not the prettiest ingots in the world, but they are silver. I think these holes in the bottom are caused by outgassing. Possibly both the silver and maybe the graphite molds were outgassing a little bit. The silver will tend to outgas oxygen as it hardens up. So I think that's where those holes come from. Let's see just how much silver we've got here, Johnny. So we're on the gram scale, so just pile them up here. I love that sound of how they clink together. That's cool. Can you read that? 1,618 grams. Wow. Okay, so that is just a hair over 52 troy ounces of silver we've got there. Wow. 52 troy ounces of silver, Johnny, from those relay contacts. Holy moly. That was a bit of a job to get that, too. So anyway, to be perfectly honest, I am not happy with these bars. I really don't like the looks of them at all. I had planned on repouring them at the end of this video, but it's just too darn hot today. Oh my God, it's like the hottest day of the year, and I am not going anywhere near that Foundry furnace again today. I've consulted with my buddy Jim and got some pointers on how to maybe make some better looking bars. Jim is really good at pouring bars. He's done it for a living, so he knows how to do it. Got some pointers from him. I think next time I will, number one, get the silver hotter. I was not running my furnace as hot as it could be. I can get this liquid silver a whole lot hotter so it doesn't harden as quick once it hits the mold. So that's one thing I can do. I'll try pouring one bar at a time instead of two at a time like I was doing there so that the silver in the crucible doesn't have time to cool off. I will get the molds a lot hotter too. I think what I'll do is get my oxyacetylene torch out and have it directed on the graphite molds before I pour and during the pour to make sure that they are, number one, good and hot, and number two, keep pouring heat into the silver as I pour it. So hopefully that will solve a lot of my problems. But that's going to have to wait for a cooler day. I'm not firing up that Foundry furnace again until we've got a cool day because, whoo, I am so drenched in sweat you wouldn't believe it. Absolutely drenched, and I'm done for today. And, you know, I have other stuff I need to process from Johnny that's going to produce yet more silver. So I think I'll wait until I get the rest of Johnny's silver together, and then we'll try repouring these along with the other silver I get out of Johnny's stuff. And don't forget, we've already got, what, close to 20 grams of gold out of Johnny's stuff. And there's a whole lot more gold to go too. So, you know, subscribe to see the future videos where I'm processing Johnny's stuff. I'm going to get more silver, going to get more gold. Eventually, we'll be pouring gold bars too, you know. So you don't want to miss that. We'll see how I can screw those up. Or maybe they'll come out nice. You never know. If you have any tips for me on pouring bars, feel free to leave a comment down below the video. I'm always open to constructive criticism and helpful suggestions, so feel free to comment. If you have any expertise in this area, let me know what I'm doing wrong, and I'll do it better next time. Anyway, if you guys found this video at all interesting, educational, inspirational, whatever, give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching this one. Bye.